Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Napoleon, and today we are back with some of the most interesting changes as of right now. Because as of right now, the weapon battle rating changes has just been implemented, and after the making Enlisted better number 71, in which Japan was buffed a lot, in this update we are getting the opposite. Japan is significantly debuffed. As a matter of fact, I would say that if you average the two, Japan is of course worse off as of right now. So without further ado, let's just get started with the video. The reason why I say Japan is much worse right now is because the Type 100 SMG, the Type 100 SMG early, has been increased from Tier 1 to Tier 2. Yeah, you heard me correct. This Tier 1 weapon, of which it has always been at Tier 1, has been changed to Tier 2. Not only that, the base damage has been reduced from 6.0 to 5.6, for both of them, respectively. The reason why I say this is a very bad idea was because the Type 100 SMG used to be a pretty good Tier 1 weapon. After debuff, that's a different story, but I think Enlisted should revert debuffs and put it back at Tier 1, exactly what they should have done a long time ago. Ever since making Enlisted Better Place number 71, in which Enlisted buffed the Type 100 SMGs, I really saw this as a much needed debuff to come to the Type 100 SMGs, but I did not expect them to change from Tier 1 to Tier 2. I only expected Enlisted to debuff them in terms of damage reduction and of course the rate of fire, in which I do think that Enlisted should just reduce the rate of fire and put it at Tier 1, because that makes so much better sense. The Type 100 SMG late has also been reduced from 6.0 to 5.6 in terms of hit power, and a Type Hay rifle, which is essentially the 10-round version of the Hay automatic rifle, which is a gold order by the way, has been changed from Tier 4 to Tier 3. And of course the Type 2A SMG has been changed from Tier 2 to Tier 3, which is on par with the Type 100 SMG, of which the Type 2A SMG is much worse off, so that is something to note. Overall, Japan has been significantly debuffed, of which I don't even think Japan is recognizable from now. I do think that Japan still get the Type 100 SMG early at Tier 1, because the only other SMG they have is the S1-100. The only thing they should do with the Type 100 SMG is to debuff it and literally call it a day. You don't have to do anything else in terms of the hit power, you just have to decrease the rate of fire, and you can, and that's it. Like, that's literally it you have to do. But no, Enlisted has to put it at Tier 2, which doesn't make any sense for me. Like, I understand why, but at the same time, I don't really understand why, because it just doesn't make sense. Needless to say, let's move on to the other changes, and these are the other weapons that have been changed. With the exception of the Gewehr 98, which has been changed from Tier 2 to Tier 1, almost every weapon is an event weapon. The PBD 1928 has been changed from Tier 4 to Tier 3, the Eurogun SMG has been changed from Tier 2 to Tier 3, the Italian and British Flamethrower squads have been changed from Tier 5 to Tier 4, and the Mosin M91 infantry has been changed from Tier 2 to Tier 1. Every other weapon actually makes some sense, and every other weapon some people either have or haven't, but the Gewehr 98 is a free-to-play weapon, meaning that adapting from Tier 2 to Tier 1 actually does make some sense. But of course, the main feature of today's video is the fact that the Japanese have been pretty much decreased in terms of their abilities, and I do think it does make sense for the Type 100 SMG's power, but I do think that Enlisted should revert all the changes they've done ever since making Enlisted better at number 71 and just put the old changes and keep it the way that it exactly is, because having the Type 100 SMG at Tier 2 just straight upright doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because of a lot of reasons, because you do have a Tier 2 weapon for the Japanese, and that's the MT-28, and you do have the FM Browning Auto 5. And of course, you do have the Type 2A SMG, potentially at Tier 2, but now it's at Tier 3, of course. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.